certainty is not a feeling, certainty is a choice. It's like the version of you who feels scared to do something and you don't really have the confidence for it. Like say you're someone who's about to go on stage, right? And you feel this fear come over you and you're very unsure of yourself. Most of the time you won't feel very confident because you are filled with fear and things like that. But when you decide that you are certain that this is going to work out, when you act from that knowing, from I already know how this ends, and you can visualize the end of you, because most of the time, okay, so think about it. When you're about to go on stage, right, you're afraid, you're scared, your mind, most of our minds automatically picture like worst case scenario here. Like it'll go straight to worst case scenario of, oh my gosh, what if I like throw up on stage? What if I trip and fall in front of everyone? What if I say something horrible? What if this ends in me being embarrassed and I'm vulnerable and I'm attacked? You know what I mean? Like you're borrowing energy instead of like letting that dictate what happens. Really consciously try to visualize the end of like you knowing exactly what to say, saying it confidently, saying it proudly, showing up in an energy of confidence. The ego and the subconscious mind are scared of stepping out of your comfort zone because it is the unknown. You're venturing out into new territory, right? So anything that is new, like a hobby that you haven't tried yet, or like you want to get a new job, things like that, because you know you're better than what you currently have if it's a shitty situation type of vibe, you know, but like when you really call on that energy of, we're going to use this stage example again. When you're about to step on stage, you can still feel fear and choose certainty because you know how it's going to end. Manifestation is ultimately just this knowing that you know it's going to happen, you know how it's going to end. It's this locked in, you can feel like it feels like it's locked in. It feels inevitable. And you act from that state. Certainty is not an emotion. It is a state of being. It is a baseline that you come back to, allowing yourself to still feel fear and come back to, oh, I already know how this ends. I'm going to let this fear move through me and still show up and put my best foot forward because I already know how this is going to end. It is inevitable. Sometimes, like, even for me, like, thinking about, like, being certain about things, I really like to exercise this a lot on a daily basis just to, like, practice my certainty. And a huge thing I like to practice this with is driving, like whenever I leave the house, because I have like a fear of like car accidents and things like that, right? But I love driving. It's one of my favorite hobbies. I love cars. I love things like that. And so it's like a thing. Oh my gosh, I literally have something in my eye. It's like hurting. So I like to do this whenever I leave my home. I'll leave the garage and I'm right before, like as the garage is opening, when I'm in my car and I'm leaving, I like to imagine it like, okay, I'm just super quick gonna visualize me getting home safely. And then anytime I get scared on the road or like there's a lot of traffic or there's crazy drivers, I like to think of it as, okay, I come back to that visualization of me pulling into my garage safe, unharmed, all in one piece, no tickets, no nothing. And I come back to that and I'm like, okay, wait, I already know how this ends. And it's a knowing energy, a certainty energy that floods over my state. And it's like, that's just the baseline that I come back to. It's like, it's a state and it's also a part of an identity because it's like, oh, this is just who I am now. I'm not someone who gets into accidents or things like that. And granted, that might happen one day, who knows? I don't want to really give that space in my identity. It's more like I can handle things that come to me. Like I can handle the hard situations, right? Like if I were to get in an accident, I would be able to handle it type of vibe. Like instead of, because it's the fear of inevitability. Like I noticed lately myself, I get scared of a lot of things like I feel like I'm not capable of. And again, it's just because it's like that unknown. Like getting a new job, I was scared of my own potential for that because I have no idea. Like I just came from a job that I wasn't doing much every day and I completely maxed it out. I couldn't grow anymore. And so it kind of like put a cap on myself, like, oh, I'm scared to step out there and venture out into a new journey, getting a new job, which I did get a new job because I was scared of my own potential, right? And the ego will do things to like self-sabotage and bring fear into your life because it's unknown, right? It's only because it's unknown. It doesn't realize it's safe yet. Your ego is kind of like your soul sister that's like in your system, or like your imaginary, like your subconscious best friend who is just being cautious because the ego really is like a part of you. It's a part of you that formed from ages 0 to 7. Like, I mean, I guess you can see it as separate from you. Sometimes I like to disassociate from it because it'd be doing too much sometimes. But again, the ego is not out to get you. It's not out to harm you. It may seem that way, and that's where so many people get tripped up and think that it's a bad thing that they're having this fear. But it's really not a bad thing. It's just your subconscious system protecting you from fear. Its only job is to keep you safe. So when you're going against that and doing something new, of course it's going to fire up in fear. Of course it's going to try and hold you back because it has no idea what's out there. And that's also why visualizing from the end can really help too. Before you do something, visualizing the end goal that you want instead of visualizing the worst case scenario, because usually the ego tricks us into thinking that we should think of the worst case scenario first thing. So when we think of the end goal that we desire first, thinking about, again, like say whenever you leave, you picture yourself coming home safe and sound from even a vacation or just leaving the home for the day, whatever it is, picture yourself coming home safe and sound. And picture that and come back to that anytime you feel fear, because you're like, oh wait, I know how this ends. So it's kind of like a whole thing here where there's like 3 rules to picking certainty and to choosing certainty. The first rule is you have to pick the identity. Who are you? Are you someone who is like, who are you becoming? What does the nervous system feel like of you who has everything that you desire, right? Thinking from like, take some time here and like choose your avatar, pick who you want to be, have fun with this. Like, who are you? Who are you being? How do you handle different situations in life? Things like that. Pick your identity. Who do you want to be? Are you going to be the version of you that kills this presentation on stage or this performance on stage? Or are you the version of you who get like shrouds in fear and backs off and lets the ego win, right? Things like that. Rule number 2, match the reactions of that version of you that you picked. So when you are going on stage and you are filled with fear, are you going to let that fear determine your outcome? No, you're going to take it moment by moment basis, let the fear move through you, step forward, feel the confidence that you are choosing to have, even if it's like, I mean, and again, you might not feel confidence, but seeing the version of you, when you can create that end goal vision of you succeeding, it kind of gives you a little glimmer of confidence that can help you stay afloat on this journey of going on stage or whatever you're gonna do. When you have that visualization, you're like, you have this knowing, like, okay, I already know how this is gonna end. It kind of takes some of the fear away, even though you still gotta like let the fear go through you and things like that. But yes, match her reactions, his or her reactions. How would they be reacting in this situation? Would they be scared to go on stage? Maybe a little bit, but they're gonna go on stage and they're gonna crush it because they already know how it's gonna end, essentially. And are they afraid to leave the house and go driving? Are they gonna let that fear dictate their entire experience? No, they might feel a little bit of fear because they know what can happen. Like, other people can be crazy, right? But there is an inevitability of, I'm gonna get home safe. I know this is gonna happen. I trust myself. I trust, my certainty and everything like that. And it comes with an energy of knowing, of being calm, of being at ease instead of being in fear the entire time, right? Because the more you're in fear, the more likely it actually creates a situation to happen in that outcome of fear because you're focusing on it so much. So when you can let it go and ride on that knowing that it's all gonna work out in your favor, it helps take some of the pressure off. And then rule number 3 is to stop checking the 3D. This is the fastest way to call upon that certainty energy and really collapse those timelines between you and the version of you that you are calling upon here, this new identity. Because when you are constantly checking the 3D, you're letting the universe know, you're letting the mirror in front of you know, I don't trust this. I need to see evidence for me to feel this way. So you're looking to the 3D for validation. You're caught in that loop again, where you are looking to the 3D for validation. You're looking at the mirror. It's the mirror analogy that I love so much, right? It's if you were standing in front of a mirror, a lot of us forget that we are the ones looking into the mirror first. And we are the ones choosing the reactions first. We're the ones choosing what we put into the mirror. We're controlling the input. And that is what is reflected back to us from the mirror. But so many of us get caught in this trap of looking to the mirror first to see if the mirror is smiling or frowning or whatever energy the mirror is showing, that's what we react to, and that's how we feel. But this is like a perfect example for this situation, right? Because when you stop checking the 3D, when you stop looking to it for validation and just remember, like, stop looking for evidence and remember that you are the proof. You are the creator. You are the one who decided it to be this way. You can see it in your head. That is all the proof you need. I do this a lot myself, right? Like, I went through this whole phase where I loved angel numbers and I would see them everywhere, and I still do. Like, I have trained my reticular activating system. It is primed for those angel numbers, man. It is primed. I see them everywhere I go now. And there was a point in time where I would be like, okay, if I don't see any in a certain amount of time or whatever, I'll be like, okay, I could really use some evidence right now, some proof right now. And I just would remember in all of those moments, like, no, what am I doing? Asking for proof that this is already happening, or asking for proof that I'm on the right path. I don't even need that proof. I am the proof, because I decided that I am the proof. I decided my new reality. I decided the outcome. Just my desire enough is proof alone that it is meant for me and that I am on the right path. That's it. That's exactly it. That's all you have to do. And it's funny enough, because in those situations, when I would flip the script, it's funny because shortly after I would always see the evidence anyway. I don't know if that's like my reticular activating system just pointing things out, right place, right time. I don't really believe in coincidences, so I think that's even more of a sign, like, hey, it's like the little synchronicities reminding me I'm on the right path, of realizing that I am the proof and realizing that I am on the right path first, because it's a perfect example of me putting in the input of deciding that I am the proof. I don't need evidence, and then seeing the evidence in the 3D shortly after, because that's exactly what happens. Your reality reflects exactly who you are being. And I mean, you don't have to be 100% certain right now, here on out, you're good, right? What I mean here is, like, being 1% more certain every day helps significantly over time, because everything compounds. Think about it. 2 times 2, 4, 4 times 4, 16. The numbers go up, right? I'm not going to go higher because I'm not very mathematically inclined. So we're just going to end that there. But yeah, 1% better is all it takes. Think about it. When you take steps every day, they're small little steps for a reason. Imagine if they were steps like the size of you. You have to, like, put all your effort, exert all your effort to get onto that step, and then you have to do it all over again, over and over and over again. And sometimes you can't even make it up those steps, right? Because they're too big. So picture, like, these tiny steps, like you're going up a staircase, you're just getting one step higher every day. It makes a world of a difference. And while you're going up the stairs, you're going on a steady incline. So you're going up regardless. So think about it this way. What is one thing I can do to get me 1% closer to my goals and dreams? Or how can I be 1% more like my new identity today? How can I incorporate that identity 1% more? Just 1%. If that is taking some deep breaths before you go on stage, or if that is taking some deep breaths before you go on a drive, even just putting on your seatbelt before you go on a drive can minimize the risk of, like, an injury if there was an accident, or like things like that. How can you incorporate that state of certainty? You got to think about it like this. What would the version of me who already has 1% more certainty feel right now? What would they be assuming about the situation? How can you feel closer to, I already know how this ends. I feel certain about what's happening. I've made the decision, and anything to get you to stop checking the 3D so much, right? Because again, remembering you are the creator, you are the proof is going to change everything. Certainty, not a feeling. It's a state, it's an identity, it's you choosing yourself over and over and over again. If you resonated with this video at all, it would mean the world to me if you joined the club and subscribed. Only good vibes over here, and we are manifesting the impossible. We are collapsing timelines over here. So if you want to join the family, join the club, hit that subscribe button. Join the club, join the fam. You already know, immaculate vibes over here. I am so excited to see you in the next video. Let me know how it goes.